Hey there, Twins fans. My name is Seth Stowes of Twins Daily and twinsdaily.com, bringing you another episode of Twins Spotlight. Last week, we had 3 episodes. This week, we're going to have 3 episodes as well. Last night, we were joined by Trey Cabbage. That was fantastic. We'll be joined on Thursday night with another guest, another Twins minor leaguer, another 2019 draft pick. So we'll get to that. Without further ado, we'll start introducing our guest evening tonight. And to do that, we're going to bring in Keoni Cavaco, the Twins' top pick in 2019 out of high school in Southern California. We got a few pictures here from last spring training. Unfortunately, spring training didn't go for too long last year, but we got a few pictures in before everyone was sent home. Now, this isn't the first time that Keoni's been on the spotlight at Twins Daily. Shortly after he was drafted, he did a question and answer. And one thing I wanted to point out in this article was all of the players from Southern California that the Twins have drafted high in the draft. You look at Royce Lewis, Travis Harrison, Aaron Hicks, Chris Parmelee, Matt Garza, Trevor Plouffe, Adam Johnson, all first rounders from Southern California. Keoni Cavaco certainly fits into that category and might be one of the best athletes in that group. So, again, we'll talk with him a little bit in just a minute. And, again, just last week, Keoni was ranked as number 7 prospect among Twins prospects this year by Twins Daily. So we'll continue to profile him. But right now, let's get to know him a little bit as I introduce you here to Keoni Cavaco. Keoni, how are you tonight?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Well, doing well. Thank you very much. And we had talked a little before we got started. I did some poor scheduling on my end, totally my fault, mixing up Central Time Zone and the West Coast, and you were in a cage hitting when I introduced you or tried to get to you earlier. So, what's going on this offseason? What's kind of your daily workout and batting and fielding routine?
So pretty much ever since we came back from last spring training, my day-to-day life is pretty much waking up, getting my workouts in, getting my hitting in. And I get it all in the morning. I want to get it done in the morning because that's when we do it, when I'm back over there. So get all my stuff done in the morning, and then when I'm done, it's family time. It's time to rest. So
for sure. Well, let's start with 2020. You got to Fort Myers fairly early. You were there ahead of camp starting, getting some work in. What was that experience like for you before things shut down? There were a lot of guys there getting ground balls, getting all your work in. Was there an excitement? Were you kind of getting geared up for your first full season?
Yeah, I was really excited because my first spring training, I got to meet everyone in the org, and it was going good. I was having fun. Practicing with all the guys, meeting everyone. Getting ready for my first spring training, but. As we all know, it sadly ended because of COVID, but I was enjoying it, man. I was ready to, get started.
For sure. Now, take us to your recollection of, camp had officially started. You actually had to report, and I think you had, 1 or 2 workouts, and then you get the news. What are your recollections of those couple of days and kind of the time from hearing about it to probably getting back home to California?
Well, I just remember we had a big meeting about it, what the situation was, because, COVID was getting worse around the country. So I just remember being in there, and, I was all hyped. We were getting close to playing games and soon. So when I got the news, I don't know, I was confused. I was kind of mad, got my first spring training cut early. So I don't know. I just feel the time I found out to when I was going home, I was just bummed. I wasn't really, I was just out of it. I just wanted to play spring, it was my second season. So I was just all excited. And then just to hear it all go down, it was heartbreaking.
So when you got home, what were you able to do? Obviously, California, I think, had some of the more strict restrictions. What were you able to do those first few months to kind of stay involved? Because in all reality, we had no idea if you would be back home for 2 weeks or 2 months or ultimately for the whole season. But what were you able to do? Were you able to work out with some guys or be in gyms or anything?
At the beginning, they pretty much shut everything down, so I couldn't really do anything. It was pretty much stay home order whatever's. But as it got on, probably like 2 months after I got home, they started opening stuff up here and there, and then I started working out with local pro guys and stuff. But then it started getting worse, and we pretty much been shut down ever since last October. So it's pretty much shut down. All the gyms still shut down. So it's
Okay.
bad.
First of all, those listening later on our podcast, this is Seth Stos of Twins Daily, speaking with Twins prospect Keoni Cavaco. Getting to know him a little bit here as we get going. I do want to welcome anyone that's watching live on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter. Feel free to join the conversation, ask a question, ask a couple of questions, leave a comment. Wish him well for 2021, as we obviously do. But yeah, please feel free to interact. I know I got some questions on Twitter that we'll get to here, but so then the season's canceled. You're able to do some things. You did get invited to Twins Instructional League. Can you talk a little bit about? I mean, first of all, the just how it was relative to when you were in Fort Myers in the spring. I mean, obviously with all the protocols, it had to have been a little bit different, but it also had to be nice to kind of get back with some of the guys too, right?
Yeah, it was totally different. I just remember showing up way. It was totally different. The academy where we stay at was like quiet. It's never quiet. There's always something going on, but everyone just had to stay in their rooms. Everyone had to wear masks every week. So it was hard getting used to in the beginning, but once you get past all that, all we really care about is, getting that work in and be there. So to be able to be back with the guys after not being with them for like 4 to 5 months, it was good. Good to get working with them.
For sure. Were there a couple of things maybe that you focused on or tried to work on during that time? Maybe either that the coaches were encouraging you to work on, or that you yourself just decided you wanted to work on?
Yeah, there's a couple things that we're working on, mainly my swing, just trying to be more of a contact hitter, less strikeouts, just stuff that I felt like I needed to get ready for next season. Nothing really major.
Sure. How about then you headed back home? Did you get away from the game, or did you jump right back into workouts and things like that?
No, I haven't jumped out the game. I've been going at it since we left, especially because there's nothing to do. But I'm not going to get away from the game. We all know if you step away from the game for a week, 2 weeks, it's hard to come back. Right away. So I'm ever since.
All right, we do have some comment here, and you'll notice on the bottom we have Keoni's Twitter and Instagram, but we got a comment here from Kevin McGee saying, Keoni, been putting in work on Instagram.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I go live. That's why sometimes I go live when I'm hitting. So I'm always live while I'm hitting.
I was going to say, I've been watching that swing. I think I'm not a hitting coach. I mean, I was a hitter in high school and into college, but, I'm not a hitting coach. But watching your current swing compared to where, even it was 2 years ago in high school, it really feels like you've gotten a little more compact to the ball. Is that something that you've been working on? Is that something that I'm just seeing and making up?
No, you're not. You're definitely not. I would agree with you right there. I always look at video from, when I graduated senior-ish to the beginning of my pro career. And I've seen the same thing. My swing just looks totally different, more shorter to the ball. My bat stays to the zone longer. It's just all around. I feel like it's just all better. I feel like a totally different guy.
All right. I do, again, want to encourage anyone who's got questions, comments to feel free to ask them, and we'll get to those. And we'll start out with, we got one from Paul Lands, which is, do you collect your own cards?
No, I don't. I have a few family members that do, but me personally, not.
Okay. Do you, thank you for the question. Have you signed a lot? Is that something, do you have a lot of guys come up to you like last year at spring training?
Yeah, I've had a couple companies came to sign some cards, but yeah, ever since I got drafted, they've been signing cards, stickers, different stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And just keep going with this. This is kind of a basic question, but Kevin Peterson asks, what is your favorite, hitting or fielding?
Hitting. I think I don't know. I feel like I can speak for most baseball players is hitting. That's that's the fun part of the sport, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, hitting.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, I want to
Yeah.
go. But before we start talking about 2021 and kind of looking forward, I want to go back and just talk about what are some of your earliest memories of playing baseball? Is it in the backyard? Was it wiffle ball with some buddies, or t-ball, or what do you kind of remember from the early days?
Shoot, the earliest I can remember is I just remember always watching my older brother. He used to play baseball, so I remember I had to be at least 3, 4 is just when I really started, picking up a bat, hitting a ball, and then I started really playing. I think 3 or 4, I started a t-ball, started playing all that. So I think ever since I was able to walk and pick up a bat, I've been playing.
Yeah, well, for sure. So, I the area that you're from, Chula Vista, is a pretty strong baseball area. But I've heard, did you do a lot of catching early in your baseball time? Were you a catcher?
Yeah, I started catching probably when I was 10, 11-ish, and then I was catching all the way up to the end of my sophomore year, and then that's when I called it quits, and then I moved over to third.
Okay. And, talk a little bit about your high school team. You did play third base pretty much most of the time, but from what I've heard, the shortstop on your team has a pretty decent chance of probably getting drafted this next year. But you had a commitment to San Diego State, and from what I've read, a lot of guys on your team
Hmm.
had scholarship offers as well. It must be quite the program there at East Lake High.
Yeah, ever since probably 7th grade, yeah, we've always had a loaded team, man. There's always talent coming out of East Lake, that Chula Vista area. San Diego in general, honestly, there's a lot of great baseball players. But yeah, my 4 years there at East Lake, we're always loaded, always D1 guys on the team. So, I feel like East Lake is going to be a powerhouse for a long time.
I want to ask you a little bit. I think you played some perfect game. Did you do the area codes, anything like that? Were you on kind of some of the national or regional types of teams and tournaments?
Nope, didn't do none of that. Didn't do no PG. I think I did one real PG thing when I was 12-ish, but other than that, no, I didn't do no area code, none of that big stuff.
So did you play like Babe Ruth or American Legion or that type of thing during the summers?
Nope, none of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, and this did come as a question here from Colton. Hey, Keoni, what was the process for you to get noticed by scouts and then keep working hard? And I hope to see you in the majors soon. Um, again, you talked about not playing in the summer, not playing in the circuit, so to speak, the national circuit. When you were drafted, the term helium came up as you prospect status really came up. So, as an individual, as a person, how is that working for you? Are you hearing from scouts or your coaches kind of sort of shielding you from that? What was that process your senior year?
So it kind of started when I made my commitment to state junior year, and then my name kind of started going out or whatever. And we always had scouts at our games, pro scouts, because we always had some dudes on our teams when I was younger. So they always got to see me a little bit, and then I started playing scout ball the end of my junior year, summer going into senior year. And I was doing that. I was getting looks from there from pro scouts, and then the Angels invited me to their scout thing, and that's when it kind of took off. I did really good over there. Scouts saw me, and they kind of just started coming towards me, coming up to me. They were there all through my senior season, so kind of started when I started doing scout ball.
So I mentioned earlier about the Twins in Southern California. A lot of guys from that area, and John Levitt, was he your area scout, or or who were some of the people with the Twins maybe that you first interacted with?
It was John.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And what was that? I mean, did he talk to you a lot? Did he kind of just stay in the background, or was he I don't know if he can text or calling you frequently?
Yeah, he was. They kept in touch a lot, man. They tried to come to pretty much every game. I remember they were just always there. There was always different kind of scouts, but I just remember John always being there. He's always checking up on me. But yeah, they never let up. Ever since beginning or before senior year, they started kind of creeping up. Getting to know me, whatever. But yeah, they never left my side.
All right, I'm going to show a little video here and maybe get your feedback on this. I think it's about 30, 40 seconds or maybe a full minute. So let's all watch this, and then Keoni will get to your thoughts on it.
Let's do it.
All right, so I just have to ask, and I'm going to try to get this or let this keep going, but we're going to turn down the volume. Okay, but obviously that has to be one of the best days of your life, getting drafted. You got a lot of people there. What do you remember of maybe earlier in that day? Because that would have been at day one, right at night, 13th pick. What are your memories of this night?
I remember the night before, dude. I couldn't sleep, man. I was just so excited. I knew the next day when I wake up, I might be a pro. So I just remember, being nervous. The whole day I was just nervous. I just wanted to hear my name be called already. I wanted, all it to happen. But, I was just there with as you can see, all my family, all my friends. They're all there to support me. And it was just a very emotional day for me because, my dreams finally came true, finally a pro. And it was just all one good day.
Can you tell us a little bit? There's a lot of emotion there.
Mm-hmm.
Called by the Twins already, or were you surprised to hear your name at that point?
No. When it was the Twins' time to pick, my agent called me, and all he said, I will never forget this. All he said was "watch, just watch," and I was confused. I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Just watch." And he hung up, and it kind of kicked in once he hung up. I started getting emotional. I started shaking. I was just, I was excited. And then right there, you see, I'm hugging my brother. That was the first person I told I was gonna hug because he's been there since day one. He's always pushing me. So it was just happy to hear my name get called and hug my family after. Tell them thank you for everything they did.
Well, who are some of those other people who are or have been there? I see the San Diego Stars, I believe, is a team you played on. But who are some of those others that kind of helped you get to this point in your career?
Just friends that I grew up with, people I've played with, coaches, aunties, uncles, all of them there, man. Everyone there had something to do, in my road to being a pro. So just having everyone there in one room, knowing that they have my back and knowing how supportive they were was just, it was huge for me.
And I wanted to show the whole video because at the end, I don't know if you could hear it on here, but if you go and watch it, Harold Reynolds actually shows that video of you, and he says, he's played a lot of third base. They're moving him to shortstop. He reminds me a lot of Fernando Tatis. I mean, that was 2 years ago, and even then, everyone kind of knew who Tatis was. I mean, he just had a pretty good week recently and a good rookie year. That's a compliment. So in that sense, I want to ask you, who are some of your favorite players to watch? And are there players that you do think you either emulate or just simply enjoy watching?
One guy that I've honestly always kept my eye on was Javi Baez. You know,
Okay.
he has fun with the game. He's explosive, and just has fun. And that's kind of who I am. You know, I want to go out there, have fun, and just enjoy the game. That's how he kind of just carries himself. So, and game wise, I've always tried to kind of copy his swing. Just trying to be like him.
I want to ask this. I mean, like you said, Chula Vista is right there by San Diego. Were you a Padres fan? Did you get the games often?
Yeah, me and my pops always go each year. I grew up watching the Padres. I've always loved them.
Here, we'll bring in another question here real quick. Colton asks, were you the best player on your Little League team when you were younger?
No,
No.
I don't think so. No, I was average like the others, but there was always good people. Little always good kids coming up with me. So it was kind of hard. Trying to be the best when we're all good.
Let's see. Well, I mean, this is kind of the same question. What current MLB players do you compare yourself to? You mentioned Baez. I should have brought that up a little bit earlier. Good question from Adam. I'm going to ask quick, and I think this can be considered a positive. He says, "I always heard your prospect status exploded later than most high school players. Why do you think that you were a late bloomer or perceived a late bloomer by some?" I mean, was it just
no, honestly,
talent around you?
yeah, that could have been a huge part because when I was a freshman and even sophomore year, we had some dudes like I think my sophomore year or even my freshman year, our starting lineup, our varsity guys were I think all D1. So my freshman and sophomore year, I just always had some dudes all around me. So it was kind of hard to rise up when you got older guys that are already getting, they're already at their potential or whatever. So I think it's a little of that, and it took a while for me to grow into my body, get bigger. I didn't really get bigger until junior year. So that, body maturing and all that, me maturing over as a person, that kind of just played in. So
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, I've noticed even just if we look at that video again from when you were drafted to what I saw in you when we met briefly last spring, I mean, you've gotten physically stronger even in the last year or two. Is that right? Has that been something you really wanted to do with pro development?
yeah, I've felt my body get a lot stronger, a lot more mature since I've graduated. So that's one thing I've been working on is just get the body stronger, so we can play those 150 games a year, and just trying to keep the body strong and healthy.
All right, just another quick reminder. I haven't mentioned it for a while. If people do have questions, please feel free to ask them. If you're watching live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and again, this will be available on podcasts wherever you get your podcast. Just do a search for Twins Daily Podcast, and you'll be able to find this wherever you download podcasts. So give Keoni a little break because we've been asking a lot of questions here. I'll just ramble for a second. East Lake High School, Chula Vista. Adrian Gonzalez, I looked, is one player who is from that school who has played in the big leagues, obviously a great number one overall pick, probably a little over 20 years ago. Is he kind of the man? I mean, did people just talk about him as far as the baseball program? Is he kind of one of the early guys that kind of helped build the program? And is he a guy maybe you even know, or is he around much?
He never came around when I was there, but obviously he was talked about because just the career he had in high school, the career he had in the big leagues, with what he's done for our program. But yeah, he's always going to be a talk at Eastlake because he's kind of the first one that kind of came out of there and went to the big league. So he's always going to be a name. I don't think his name will ever go away.
For sure. Yeah, real quick, what are your thoughts on your adjustment to pro ball? Was it as much, kind of moving from West Coast to East Coast, playing in a different environment, the humidity? What were some of the biggest adjustments? Had you played with a wood bat much growing up? Things like that. What were some of the biggest adjustments for you, both physically, on or off the field, in becoming a pro ball player?
The biggest adjustment, personally, I think was just moving away from home. I've never been away from home by myself, so that was a big adjustment. And playing with older guys, I'm used to playing people my age, and then playing with 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds was just, I don't know, it was a different, environment for me. And then just having to adjust to the speed of the game, compared to high school was a huge jump. But overall, it's, I'm at a different level, but same game. So
I do want to ask this. As we look at your tools, and you're talked about as 4 or 5 tool player, your speed. You played third base, but obviously you can play shortstop. You've got the range, you've got the hands. So talk a little bit about your speed and defense, and kind of what your strengths are, and then what you're working on in those areas.
Well, defensively, we're kind of building from the ground up right now because, I don't have much experience with infield. So I'm kind of not learning the basics, but just getting familiar with the position. I'm still learning a lot with it. So I feel like every day, when I'm working my defense, I'm learning something new and I'm getting better. So there's not really one thing I got to work on. It's kind of, the whole thing. But yeah, we're just working to get better every day.
And I would think getting reps is probably the most important thing, more than anything. Getting time out there, being in different situations, probably as well. So offensively, you mentioned maybe cutting down on the strikeouts a little, but again, you're big, you're strong, you're fast, you can utilize your speed, but you got some power potential as well. I guess, how do you see yourself presently offensively? And kind of reiterate what some of those areas that you're working on this offseason.
Yeah, my power, I don't really worry about it too much. Just want to hit the ball hard. I want to put it in play. I want to, get some hits, use my speed, like you said. So I'm not going to go out there, try to hit a home run every time. I'm going to go up there, try to hit the ball hard, try to get a base hit, extra bases. So I just want to get more hits, more contact.
All right. We're talking about the power for 1 second here, because we do have a question that's come in that I think you'll enjoy. I don't know if you can read that, but a Keoni Cavaco asks, who wins the home run derby, you or your brother?
Me, no doubt. He's old.
He's old?
Yeah, he's old. Chance. He might tell you different than me, but there's no chance. His hands can't get him through the zone.
All right, Keoni, I expect a response here in the comments shortly that I'll be able to share as well. Tell me a little. You mentioned that it was important for him to be the first guy that you hugged after getting drafted. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship and kind of how that's grown?
Yeah, man. Ever since I first saw him play baseball, we've always had that connection. He's just always been there since day one. He's always pushed me. He's always made sure I'm straight. Everything with baseball is all right. He left my leave me. So just to have someone like that in my corner is, it's huge.
Absolutely. Here's a question from Kevin McGee, but I'm going to acknowledge that on Twitter I got the same question from one of our Twins Daily writers, JD Cameron. And that question is, do you think the canceled season hurt your growth, or are there ways that maybe it helped? You feel you were able to make strides last year even without the season?
I feel like personally I am. I'm getting, I'm staying healthy. I'm getting stronger. I got time to improve on my swing. I could work on my defense. So I'm definitely not getting worse from, season getting canceled. So I don't know. It definitely hurt not being able to play another season after the first season I had. But it's a good thing too because you can take time off, get better, let the body heal and all that.
Sure. I'm sure there's some of that too, but yeah, playing would have been good too. All right. Speaking
Oh
of,
yeah.
I'm going to show a little video here. This may be familiar to you. All right. Home run number 1 of your pro career. Do you remember that or anything about it?
Yeah, I will never forget. I remember, I had a rough first season, so to at least get my first home run out of the way, my first season was huge for me. And I don't know, it's not an unforgettable moment. I just remember hitting that ball, seeing it go. I'm like, dang, I hit my first pro home run. So I was jogging with a big smile on my face.
That was actually going to be my question because I remember the first high school home run I hit. It was a freshman. It was in a I don't know, regular season game. I guess it was the first game I played with on the varsity, and I was trying to play it all cool around the bases, and I got around third and I just burst. Like I think I made an audible noise because I was so excited and I was trying to play it cool. So I'm glad to hear that you got a smile around in your bases. That had to feel good. Like you said, it was a tough debut, but at the same time, I mean, you have to start somewhere, and I mean, you can learn from all that as well. So, what were some of those things that you took from that experience to? I would think the mental side of the game has to be as challenging as the physical sometimes.
Yeah, definitely mentally, it helped me a lot, to fail early. I kind of just told myself, don't beat myself over it. It's going to be a long haul. Nothing happens right away. So I just remember telling myself just to slow down. It's a marathon. It's not a race. So I just take a deep breath, continue, putting in work, and stuff will fall in place.
Yeah, I think you're still a teenager, right?
Yeah, 19, 20 this year.
Yeah, you got a little time. Be patient with yourself. I think that's the key for sure. Here's a question also from Colton, and it kind of speaks to the relationships you build as a professional. So he asks, is there a teammate that you have built a strong relationship with in the Twins organization? I know it's maybe hard to name just one sometimes, but are there certain guys that kind of brought you in right away that that bond is probably there for forever?
Yeah, my man Reggie Grace. It was kind of one of the first people I ever met, and ever since he's kind of been like that big brother. He's always watched out after me. He's always been a good guy. He's always made sure I was good, and we just stayed connected ever since we first met, and he's a good teammate.
Oh, for sure. And Reggie was a guest for those of you listening on Twin Spotlight. I don't know, 2 months ago maybe. It was fantastic. He was very good. So just a couple more minutes here with Keoni Cavaco. Kevin McGee does say can't wait to see Keoki pitching to Keoni in the home run derby in 2026. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan, pretty good goal.
True, if his arm can make it. Until then, I hope so.
Because he's so old, right?
Yeah, he's getting old, man.
Oh man,
Body
Keoki's
stay
gonna
good.
unfollow me on Twitter now too.
That would be amazing though to do a home run derby with my brother. That definitely be a dream.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the rest of your family. You mentioned you had other family there as well. How important has that been in your development, both on and off the field?
Family to me, man, is number one. Without them, I wouldn't be here. They've they've always stuck behind me. They've always been really supportive. They've never doubted me. So just to always have them knowing that I could fall back to them, and knowing that they're going to be there the whole way. They're not going to go away. It's amazing, to have such a supportive group like them.
Absolutely. And I'm going to show back up here on the screen. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, never mind. I didn't actually share that screen again. Just a couple last questions here for you. As you're looking forward to, I believe April 1st is maybe the day that minor league spring training starts. Do you have plans for when you're heading over there? Are you driving or flying?
I'm flying. I'm definitely flying. I would never drive to Florida.
That's a
Never.
long ways.
Yeah,
um,
it's like a 2-3 day trip. Nope.
yeah, yeah. I'm just curious, your goals for the 2021 season. Are you a guy that jots things down? I mean, number of home runs, batting average, maybe a certain level you would like to be at the end of the year. Have you given thought to any of that? And is that worthwhile for you to do?
Um, I don't know. Me personally, number wise, I don't really pay attention. What I want to do coming into this, next season that we hopefully have is, I just want to go out there and I want to just have fun, honestly, because we can't forget, it's a game, and it's a game I haven't played in a year and a half. So honestly, just to get back out there and just, have fun, also, put in some work and, hopefully rise to the top is, that's kind of ideal plan right now.
Absolutely. I was having a problem finding buttons, and I'm kind of looking around to make sure that the questions that I got asked by other people I've actually asked. So, on more of a personal level, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing when you're not playing baseball? When you're just at home by yourself, or after a workout, or maybe on a game day when you're either looking for what to do before the game or after the game? Hobbies, that kind of thing.
When on my downtime, most of the time I'm either napping, sleeping, or I'm a big gamer, so I'm always on my game when I have downtime. So I'm always playing with the boys. But as far as before and after games, before games, I kind of I just put the music in. I just calm myself down, just try to get ready for the game, and then after, it's back to gaming or I'm falling asleep.
I understand. Sleep is a good thing. I did want to
Yeah.
ask on back, did you play other sports in school, either elementary or through high school?
Yeah, I played football, a little basketball, but it was mainly football and baseball. I stopped playing
Okay.
football my sophomore year of high school.
And what positions did you play?
Ooh, I think I played outside linebacker. That's what it was. Outside
Okay.
linebacker. Yeah.
I was going to ask, being from San Diego, are you bilingual? Or do you speak Spanish as well?
No, I'm trying to learn it though, so it's easy to communicate with the guys. So they always trying to help me, but nah, I'm not bilingual. I wish I
And that
was.
the reason I was asking is because last year, the times that I saw you hitting or fielding with guys, you seem to be communicating really well with the guys from Latin America, or the Dominican or Venezuela. So I was curious, and I like you said, I think that does become important over time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm starting to learn the basics, so to carry out a conversation. What I'm saying, I don't really know all of it, but I just know enough to communicate with them, see how things are doing.
All right, last question. I'll let you go. Have you become, I guess it's weird to say, a Twins fan? Have you followed their off season, or have you gotten to know some of the big leaguers? And what's that experience being like? Being a professional ball player, being a Minnesota Twin, what does that mean to you?
Almost feels like I'm part of a family now, and I'm always watching the big leagues guys, seeing what's happening. I'm always seeing how things are going, whatever. I always try to keep up, but yeah.
And
Thing went
of course,
frozen.
I came up with one question as I was listening there. When you came to Target Field to sign your contract, did you have a chance to do anything with the team or with the player? We might have lost a little bit of connection there with Keoni, but I can hear you. And we did lose him. So real quick, wanted to just say thank you to Keoni Cavaco. It's really the first time we've had a longer, extended conversation, and obviously you can tell, pretty impressive young man. Again, the Twins look at character and things like that very heavily, and I say it often. There's a lot of good people in this organization, and And you can see right there, Keoni Cavaco certainly fits that category. So again, we thank him very much for spending some time with us tonight. A little later than normal, but that's okay. He's out on the West Coast, so that's good. Want to thank everyone for listening as well. I really appreciate it. Lots of questions. If I didn't get to one, I apologize. A lot of them were coming in pretty quick. So, but again, we'll be back on Thursday night with another Twins prospect, kind of get to know that player. And again, let me know if there's people that you want me to interview. Go to twinsdaily.com, check out the story on this article, on this show. Leave some comments in there for people you'd like me to interview, or leave them here on YouTube, however you choose to do that. But again, thanks for listening. Whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or listening to this, download it wherever you can. Get your podcasts and things like that. Real quick, I'm going to bring Keoni back in, and apologize for the connection. It's probably my end somewhat. So just wanted to again say thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And I made the comment when we were gone. The Twins obviously look into character, and that's important. And clearly you've fit that with a very high character. You can see why the Twins are so excited about you. So thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
All right. And then I guess the last thing is I'm going to be getting hair tips from Keoni. So ideas.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it. And again, thanks to everyone for listening. With that, we're going to call it a show. Check back Thursday night and head to twinsdaily.com for a ton of information. So without further ado, thanks for watching and have a great night. And of course, as we always end it, go Twins.